So, so you move to a brand new city, and you're given 4 months to create a school from scratch. I'm talking about a whole school from scratch, and it's not talking about just some regular school. We're talking about a school that's going to be breathtaking and mind-shaking, all those words that rhyme with aching. That makes this a pretty good story. But what you're doing, you're really doing something that could potentially change the face of an entire community. So, pressure, yeah, it was a little bit of pressure, but not the kind of pressure that you guys are thinking about. We're talking about the type of pressure that you've always worked for this one thing, and now you have a chance to do it. Almost like the basketball player who wants to get that ball at the end of the game and hit that game-winning shot to win the championship, like a LeBron James or Steph Curry, something like that. But mine was just a little bit different. I wanted to do something that was going to impact a community through education that could last for generations, like Joe Clark or Jeffrey Canada, something like that. So pressure, yes, there was pressure, but we were up to that pressure. We were ready. So that was my situation. I walked into a brand new city, Cleveland, Ohio, and they did not tell me how cold Cleveland could get. That is so wrong. I'm still mad about that. But we had to do something that was going to shift the paradigm. We needed to give kids more opportunity. So before I could shift anything, I had to shift the way that I was thinking. I couldn't become married to situations. I had to be a little more flexible, a little more growth mindset, and think outside the box. So I needed to do some things with myself. I need to adjust. That was something that I said a little bit too much during that year. Adjust. So we're going to say it together. Say it again. Adjust. That's what I needed to do, and we did. So we got into the school year, and we did some great things. We gave students a voice and choice. Like Otis was saying, we gave them really an opportunity to be a part of the educational experience. We recruited some teachers who were just as passionate about kids as I was, and we also just developed a culture in the school that, everybody wanted to do what was right for kids, to make this thing work for kids. So we also did some things that were not so great. One is that we put too much of an emphasis on the use of technology as our instructional driver. So every time I tell someone that, I hear the voices of the ghosts of principals past. Now, these are not some dead guys or anything like that, but Springpoint coordinated a group of principals who were outside-of-the-box thinkers. And we pitched our idea of what we're going to do as a school to this group. And I told them, I gave them the whole thing. I practiced. I did all this stuff. And they said, yeah, you want to do all of these things. You want to build great relationships with kids, and you want to use all of this technology. But you're going to have to find a better balance between the relationship and the technology, And when they said that, I was like, they don't know my vision. They don't get it. So I'm going to do this thing anyway. So we did, and they were right, which is crazy. But what was even more was that when you create a school and kids feel empowered and teachers are as passionate as you are, they will not be quiet if something is wrong. They will let you know, and they did. So one day I went to Mr. Hurt. Mr. Hurt is what we call the freshman whisperer. He's a guy that can build relationships with any kid in the building. So I went to Mr. Hurt. I said, Mr. Hurt, so what do you think about all this? We got this technology going. We feel good about this thing. And he looked me right in my eyes and said, adjust. I'm like, wow. So that's what we did. We adjusted. We did a complete pivot on what we were thinking were best for kids. We moved a little bit out of the technology use, not completely because it's a part of what we do, but we really focused on PBL, problem-based learning. So why we did that is because it was a lot more engaging to students. It allowed our teachers to be a little more flexible with what we were doing for kids, and it's worked. Now, I know a lot of you guys are like, you do something like that, it can really destabilize the school, and it can. It can, but remember what I said a little bit earlier. We built a strong culture. That culture where it really didn't feel strange that I would walk and knock on people's doors and get kids out of the bed to get them to school, or strange that we'd walk through the snow to make sure our kids were okay at the bus stop. It wasn't strange for us to do that. So it wasn't strange for us to decide, hey, this is not working for our kids, so we need to adjust what we're doing. So as you are moving forward and creating these schools, there are a couple of things you need to know. One, you're not going to get it right the first time. There's some things that you're just going to need to adjust. And also that this job, when you're doing schools differently, is a hard job. It is a tough job, but you always have to continue to be thinking what's best for our students, not just a cookie cutter understanding of how you educate kids, but something that's specific for your kids. So as you move forward, just remember to Adjust. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.